What was the worst play you think you put on tape in Washington?
Uh, it was the game against the Saints.
Yes, sir.
Mark Ingram had bust that long run because I trusted my teammates to make the tackle. They didn't while I was pursuing the ball. Next thing you know, a long run broke out and I got called down.
You didn't end up with the worst feeling?
Yeah, definitely was. I never let it happen again though.
Yeah, because you like remember shit like that. But like, yeah, he's right. Like the guy should have made the tackle before him, and he's swarming just to like naturally swarm to the ball.
Yeah.
And when it broke out, Preston's close enough to get him. And it was kind of one of those, oh shit, you have to like change speeds. That's what they call a loaf. And I'll never forget that moment in the meeting too, because it's not like I'm sitting there like this motherfucker Preston, but it's one of those things where you felt like it was like a shift in something with him, because that was always the thing. It's like, bro, at some point you're going to get beat by oozing your way through this, whether it's in practice or something else. And then it showed up in the game. And you felt like that was like a turning point for you mentally.
Yeah, because like, you know what, just finish through the play until the whistle is blown and make sure that I never ooze to the ball again. And just next thing that you got to make sure that, you got to make sure the guy's on the ground before you stop running to the, before the play is over.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And now you're fucking here. What's it been like playing at Green Bay?
Man, it's been awesome, man. I think just taking all that knowledge from my rookie year into the year I got paid and came here, just like seeing all the chaos in Washington when we was there and knowing what it takes to be a good leader and bad leaders and what you want when it's your time to lead. Just getting here and trying to set a new standard because there was a lot of young guys when I got here. So trying to set a new standard for what, and trying to set a new standard and trying to be an example for these younger guys. That's was my main focus when I got here. And ever since then, guys been turned up and we just been playing a high level, and just the standard around here now is just play at a high level. And we expect that from the top to the bottom.
How different are the organizations?
Man, Green Bay is top tier. I love it here.
Isn't it interesting, like how, like, because Washington was my first team in the league too. And when you first get to the league, the shock factor is you go from college being, everybody holds your hand in college, the facilities are nice and everything else. Then you get to the league, and kind of the shock factor is how NFL teams, their facilities are a lot different than college. You're kind of like, okay, money goes into our pockets versus the facilities.
Yeah.
But all I had tasted until I went somewhere else was Washington. And then all you had tasted until you got to Green Bay was Washington. Like, isn't it nuts how different organizations can be run?
Definitely. It's all about, seeing how the organization cares for the players. But, Green Bay doesn't have an owner. So
The fans are the owners.
Yeah, the fans are the owner, but the money that, normally go into an owner's pocket goes back into the facility. Like a lot of that money goes back into the facility and change the facility around to make sure it's catered to what the players want and make sure the players have a great feeling while they're in the building.
Yeah, money, Dan Snyder, the money's going into his pocket.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was interesting. If you don't want to speak a whole lot on it, it's fine. But I know it's something that I talk on, like, it was very drastic. Like, I loved my time in Washington. I really did. Like, I love that locker room. I miss that locker room as much as any locker room I've ever been in. Probably the most. The only thing that holds me back is knowing, like, damn, this shit was so much different culturally.
Yeah.
Not like within the players. Like, yeah, we had our mishaps and things that we should have figured out. Stuff that I look back on, and I hate that I was a young guy. Like, I feel like the undrafted mindset of becoming the starter captain. Like, there was like a man, I don't feel like, see something, say something, like, speak up even more. Like, I didn't have the pedigree that backed me up to say something to guys, even though guys respected me and everything else. But there's stuff I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have done it this way differently, or spoke up in this moment, because we're all trying to police ourselves a little bit. But outside of the locker room and like outside of the team, or outside of like the football foundation of the guys and the coaches, the shit was a little chaotic.
Yeah, and I
Going
guess
from that media market to like a different one to where it's like,
and when we walked in, from the time I walked in, it was, D Hall. We had 3 double-digit veterans on the defense, and it was a lot of older guys opposed to being on the team with a lot of younger guys. So you kind of expected it to be a lot more structured and a lot of less chaotic, because like, okay, the older guys can speak up and try to help fix the thing and mend things in the locker room and on the team with the coach and stuff. But I just think, it was a lot of people that wasn't on the same page, and it's just a lot of chaos because, it wasn't no structure and of people doing things the right way or trying to find a way to make things better and cordial for everybody.